What's good, guys? Episode 73 of Like Father, Like Son. As I wait for my pops to get in here, we obviously going to discuss Warriors, Lakers, Bron, Steph, Kyrie. You know, he's about to return as a part-time player in the league, so we're going to be discussing that too. And then we made some early predictions before the season started about what we expected from the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference prior to the season. So we about to actually talk about some of that. Just now that the Christmas Day games are over, it's time to reevaluate the Eastern Conference and Western Conference and just see where we are, where the league is today. So my man you got your Steph Curry hat on.
Hey man, what's going on?
You got your Steph hat on, man.
Yeah, hey man, that's the way you got to roll these days, brother. Got to go with a winner.
Can you put it on like right now? It's kind of like crooked.
How's
With
that?
the
How's
It's
that?
kind of crooked right now, man.
Hold on for a second. I don't think it's crooked. Hold on, let me get my stand set up. There it is. Got you.
All right, man. Well, we're gonna jump right into it, man. As people trickle in, episode 73 of Like Father, Like Son. So we're gonna what's up, Frank? We're gonna jump right into it. We obviously gonna discuss your Warriors, my sorry Lakers. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about LeBron, Kyrie Irving. He's coming back, so we gotta talk about that. LeBron just became the third player to score 36,000 points in the league. He joins Kareem. He joins Karl Malone. So we're gonna talk about that. And in the East and the West, we had a lot of predictions going into the season.
Right.
There's teams like, matter of fact, Frank's in here, so it makes me think about his Bulls. There's teams that we didn't expect to be where they are right now at this point, 35 games into the season. We didn't expect some of these teams to be doing as well as they're doing. So we're gonna talk about that. We also didn't expect certain teams to be doing as bad as they're doing, like my Lakers. So we're gonna get to that as well. But hey, Pops, when you called me earlier today, and we were talking about Golden State, we got into like an interesting conversation. Hey, real quick, hey Frank. So I know this is hard for you, bro. It's hard for you to be objective, but let's just be real. Just be real with me and my pops. Before the season started, if I would have told you the Bulls are going to be second in the East, right behind Brooklyn, after 35 games into the season, would you have believed me? That's what I want to know from you, man, because I knew the Bulls were going to be better. I thought that they would be. He said we won. You can never count on Frank to be objective. Frank's he's like those Wizards fans, man, who just think that they're gonna always think that they're gonna win it all, man. He's like the Cowboys fans
Okay,
the
got you.
Cowboys fans always think the Cowboys are gonna be in the mix. I gotta be honest, man. I thought the Bulls would be a playoff team, but I thought they would be towards the bottom. It was good. Yeah, I thought it would be towards the bottom. He said I would have been disappointed. I thought we would be number one. I can't take Frank seriously, man, when it comes to the Bulls. But no, man, they're second in the East. And like I was telling Drew, I was on the phone with Drew the other day because Drew's another Bulls fan, and I was saying, man, they actually I think that you got to take them seriously at this particular point.
Well, once they picked up DeMar DeRozan.
Oh yeah, that was a good pickup.
That was what took them over the top, man, because seeing the way he's playing,
Right.
and gelling well with the whole crew, I think that's the difference maker right there, man. And
Right.
Plus they have a good team overall. So
Yeah, you still got Zach LaVine, obviously.
yeah, but Zach and him are playing well together, so that's really what's making the difference with that group.
Picked up Lonzo.
And Lonzo was amazing too because he shoots the ball well. He's shooting the ball real well. 3-point shooting is good, and he pushes the ball down the court. And those guys like to run, so I think it's good to see that they're doing well. Milwaukee still got more wins, but they just got 3 more losses. So you
Yeah, that's
can't
yeah.
count them out. And then of course Miami's right there, with 22 wins. So
Right. Oh,
uh,
it's I mean, it's close. It's very close. In the East and in the West, honestly, there's a lot of teams that's kind of hovering around the same record. um, but also Caruso, my guy Caruso, left the Lakers and really started hooping in Chicago. So,
well,
um,
that was one of the problems when they shipped all those people away from the Lakers just for
right,
one player. I
right,
just didn't think that was a smart move. That's a 40-some million, it was 41, $42 million contract that he had to take on with Russell Westbrook. And after seeing that blooper reel on Russell Westbrook today, it is shameful that you all gave all that up for this one man.
I wish we had, when I saw the story come out, I think my guy Derek sent it to me. And this goes along with what Frank just said. I think Derek was the one who sent it to me that the Lakers, supposedly the Lakers could have got DeMar DeRozan, but they wanted Russell Westbrook instead. I know that they're not going to admit it in the public, but deep down, I know they're kicking themselves for that because I think DeMar DeRozan would have been a way better pickup
Oh yeah,
for
yeah,
the Lakers.
and it wouldn't have been as expensive either.
That too, that
Yeah,
too, that
so
too. But I'll say this one thing about teams like the Bulls, and I feel this way about when I watch Golden State and when I watch Phoenix. Seeing these teams that have some youth, right, and they just you could tell they're having fun playing. Like they're playing a fast paced style of play. And you could tell they just enjoy playing with one another and having fun out there.
mhm.
That's one thing about my Lakers, man. When I'm watching my Lakers, not only do we not have youth on our side, but they don't always look like they having fun playing out there together. You know?
Because you know why? It's because they have to play defense, and when you got a bunch of guys that like offense, and then they really realize that they have to buckle down and play defense. Now, you know, don't get me wrong, Melo. I am so happy at the way Melo has been playing overall. I'm not talking about,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I just think overall
Yeah.
we're getting some good stuff from Melo, especially home
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, he
I
had
don't know,
24 last night and made
yeah, not the
four
road
threes.
games, but the home games, and he's just not a defender. He's fighting himself to go ahead and be a defender, and what he's doing, if anything, he's throwing no elbows up in dude's chest,
Getting physical.
trying to get physical because he knows that he can't keep up with them like that, and he's
Right.
accepted his role too.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, he's accepted his role now. But I just think that they're lacking chemistry on the offense. They don't move the ball around enough,
Mm.
and I think the coach just doesn't have a formula to get them to have a well. Uh,
I,
I know you got all these
I'm
personalities in there. You got Westbrook wants to play one-on-one. You got LeBron. He's the one that's trying to
I don't think,
different
but the
people
thing is, I
involved.
don't think Russ even really wants to just play. I don't think he really wants to truly play one-on-one basketball. My problem. This is my problem with Russell Westbrook, man. My problem with Russ is I feel like and you spoke to it earlier when we were on the phone. I'm gonna get to what MJ said. You spoke to it earlier when we were on the phone. It's like he's not thinking sometimes when he's making some of these decisions. For me, it's always been, and I said this way before he even left OKC. For me, with Russ, I love Russ. Like at one point, he was like one of my favorite player to watch when when he first started averaging a triple double in OKC.
Right.
My main issue with Russ is it's the turnovers. And the turnovers come from his bad decision making. And me and Briscoe talk about this all the time. Like his decision making, I just don't understand it. Like last night, he had a triple double last night, 25-point triple double last night, but he
Right.
had 7 turnovers. And the thing about his turnovers is they're they're ill-advised turnovers, man. It's unforced turnovers. I mean, just stuff that is like Shaq in a fool.
Mm-hmm.
Type turnovers. I mean, last night he's dribbling the ball up the court. There's no defense really in front of him. He's playing around with the basketball, dribbles the ball off his leg. He's trying to save it out of bounds. That's a turnover. That's the type of stuff with Russ that I just like. He's become a blooper reel, to some degree. And I know Kobe showed you one of those blooper reels before we got on here tonight. But that's what kind of bothers me about Russ, man. It's not the fact. It's not even really the fact that he's not a strong jump shooter and all of that. It's really just the decision making and the crazy
Well,
ill-advised turnovers, man.
but it's also that his style of play, the way he plays, he got all this movement and all this bounce going on when he's dribbling the ball, and he's not a guy that is just this guy that the ball he's got the handles like a Kyrie or Steph. You know, he can
He's
make
got a handle though. He's got a handle.
no, he got a handle, but he's got a handle where he can make a couple dribbles and drive to the basket and finish and go by you. He's been known to be that kind of guy, but he's not one of those guys that's going to be finessing with the ball, man, and without looking at the rock. You know what I'm saying? He's just not that type. So don't try to be it. You know what I mean? And
I
not
think he
only
makes
that,
too many decisions up in the air.
yeah, that's
Giving up his
another
dribble,
thing I
like you
say.
said
He
before.
jumps. He takes off and jumps before he sees the opening, and he gives up his dribble too early. If he would just hold on to his dribble until he sees the open and make the pass, I think he'll be good. But you can't rush down there and get all caught up in traffic and then jump like you're gonna pass to somebody and then nobody's there, and then you trying to figure out what to do, right? Or you do a jump shot, you do something crazy, do a jump shot, and the guy's right there getting ready to block your shot, and then you just get rid of the rock. You know, you
It's
just
so
kind of
bad,
just throw
man.
it.
It's bad. Oh, MJ said the role players leave the Lakers and become superstars. Right? You see Kuzma's play. You see how Kuzma's playing in Washington. KCP's in Washington.
So that's a good question.
Lonzo's coming into his own.
Well,
Yeah,
that's a good question. Maybe what is your thought on it, Carl? Everybody's always saying that LeBron makes the players around him better, right? That's what's always been said. But it seems like the last couple of years, outside of the year they won the title,
right.
he shipped out a bunch of guys, man, because it just wasn't working out. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
The
I'm
year
glad.
prior to that, he shipped out a bunch of young guys out. You remember that?
Well, I'm not gonna keep saying he's shipping people out. I mean, this man's not the GM. But I understand. I understand. Everybody thinks. I get it. Everybody thinks LeBron is the coach, the GM, the president, the head of operation, everything.
He's
I
not
get
the
it.
GM.
I get
Okay.
it. I get. No, I get it. I get it because obviously LeBron James is the type of player that you're not going to not consult with him. I get that. But
hey, look, when he wants somebody to be out of there, they generally are out of there.
I mean, that's our assumption. It might be a good assumption, but
hey, look,
hold on.
J.R. Smith had to go and
What's
play
up, J
golf.
Hall? Huh?
Hey, look, J.R. Smith had to get out of the game and go back to college and go play golf for a golf team at the college level because LeBron James said, he ain't coming back here.
No, man, but you know what? I'm glad you brought it. I'm gonna get to what Frank said too, and it's something that MJ said I want to get to. But you bring something.
Too tall, my man.
You bring up something interesting. You bring up something interesting. I do think that when you look at LeBron's overall career, I do think he's made guys around him better.
Okay.
I think when you go back and look at that Cleveland team that he took to the finals in 2007, when you think about Mo Williams and how good he had Ilgauskas looking and Varejao and guys like Mo Williams, man, had these guys looking, Delonte West, guys like that, in his first stint in Cleveland. He definitely has a history of making guys around him better. But I would say when he got to Miami, I even think he made guys like Mario Chalmers better, right? When he was in Miami, like he does help elevate the level of play around him. But let me finish my statement. But the only thing is, and Kevin Love has spoke to this. Richard Jefferson has spoke to this. It's not easy playing with him, because the thing is this: when LeBron comes to town, because of his overall game and just how great of a player LeBron is and his IQ, it's a foregone conclusion that you're gonna have to adjust to him when he comes to town, whether it's Cleveland, coming back to Cleveland, or when he went to Miami the first time, or coming to LA. It's a foregone conclusion that you're building around this guy, right? You're gonna have to adjust. He's gonna have the basketball in his hands most of the time, so you're gonna have to adjust to him. So I do think that he does a great job of maximizing his personnel, and he makes guys around him better. But at the same time, I think it is difficult for some guys to play with him. Like when he went to Miami, Chris Bosh had to take a back seat, right? Naturally, I think Dwayne Wade, to a degree, had to take some type of a back seat. Whereas when he first got to Miami, I think that Dwayne Wade was still in a place where it was like, he was still when you look at that team, he was still the guy that I would trust as a closing out games offensively.
Well, he was still closing them out though.
Right, but I'm just saying there had to be a major adjustment made from him, from Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh became more of a defender, rebounder. I'm gonna shoot the corner three. He was nowhere like he was in Toronto.
But
and then
it seemed to me like that he was forced to have to play that way, based on working with the system that LeBron wanted in place, or the coaching staff wanted in place, because Chris Bosh turned into, main thing was defense and shooting that three to stretch the court, and to get that big man from under that basket that was sticking him. So, I mean, he had a problem having to make those adjustments, and he recognized that he had to do them. Then you had
then Kevin Love had to deal with the same thing.
Kevin Love.
When LeBron got to Cleveland, now Kyrie, I think, benefited greatly, but Kevin Love had to do the same thing. Kevin Love became what?
Kevin Love
he became a catch and shoot guy.
He had to become a 3-point shooter, and that's not really what he wanted to focus all his game on. But he had to make that adjustment because that's what was required of him.
Right
now, Kyrie wanted to run the point, but
Kyrie got to. I think that Kyrie got to do what he wanted to do.
He didn't need to run the point, but he wanted to run that point.
He had that basketball in his hands a lot. He's one person who I still don't understand to this day.
Well, yeah,
where all the complaints came from, man.
Because he averaged about 25 when he was on there with LeBron.
Kyrie was eating when LeBron came to Cleveland. Like Kyrie was good. Kyrie could. LeBron was deferring to him, just like with this team. With the Lakers team, and when Anthony Davis came on board, LeBron's telling the media, which we're running the offense through this guy, right?
Right.
But what I'm saying is, forget about just the superstar talent, the superstar players. But when you think about like the guys like KCP, or you think about the guys like Lonzo, or you think about you think about guys of that caliber, Caruso, Rondo. When you think about some of these guys, I think that for these role players, it's pretty difficult to play with a guy like LeBron James, man.
Right.
I do, because then Kuzma's not going to be able to have the freedom, right? Like he has in Washington. How many times did he say this when he was with the Lakers? How many times did this man say, "I'm still trying to find my identity with this team"? I think that does have a lot to do with the fact that LeBron is at the helm.
Right.
It's not because, and I say that because there's, like I said, Kevin Love, Richard Jefferson, guys who have played with LeBron and who have won with LeBron have said, we love him as a teammate. He's a great leader, right? He does make guys around him better, but it's also difficult to play beside LeBron. Some guys, it's not for everybody, right?
Right.
So I think I'm not gonna say that means that he's not making guys around him better. I just think that for some guys, it just doesn't work out. They're not able to really blossom the way that they would if they're not playing alongside of.
Right. Yeah, because Kuz was playing like he was scared, man. Like he was afraid to make a mistake. And now he can make mistakes, man, on his team, and he can feel confident about his game. Because when you list those people, and I think somebody listed them in our group, Ingram. I mean, look at how good that boy is. Look at Randall. He won most improved player just last year. Jordan Clarkson, man, what he's doing with the Jazz is amazing.
Crazy.
I mean, this guy's like their second best.
And he won Sixth Man of the Year last year, I think.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah. So when you have that kind of talent that you had on your team, and you weren't able to get them, and I'm not just blaming it on him. It's like the coach has to play a big role in this, man.
Well, not just the coach. It's really Pelinka. It's the people that's it's the guys who have the power. The guys who have the power to put these pieces together, man.
But you as a star player like LeBron, he's got to see what he has working with and take advantage of it. You know what I mean? Some
Right.
kind of way, it's got to be some kind of communication to say, hey, look, we all together. You know, kind of like you see what we do on the Warriors, man. All those
Right.
guys know that we a team, man. We playing together, and I think because they run their offense and they move the ball around, it gives
Right.
everybody opportunity to touch the ball, and
Right.
you keep moving the ball around until a guy's open. They're forced to have to shoot that
Right.
ball when they're wide open. You know what I
I
mean?
have a question for you. I have a question for all of you guys. I understand hindsight is 2020, and the Lakers did win a championship in 2020. But as you look at it right now, as you look at the situation with the Lakers right now, did we make a mistake in giving up so many pieces to bring Anthony Davis to LA? Was
Well,
that the right decision to give? Because we gave up several pieces. You got to think about this. Before AD came there, a lot of these guys you're mentioning, we still had them on our
well, I
roster.
mean, you can't say it was a mistake because they won a championship. So and that's ultimately what they were trying to do. They wanted to win a championship. When
Yeah,
they
but
got
you can still say it's a mistake because you know this because you as a Golden State Warriors fan, you weren't in love with the fact that they brought KD over there because they had success. Now here's the difference. Y'all had success without Kevin Durant. We didn't have success before AD got there. We weren't even in the playoffs the year before that. LeBron went down, missed 20 something games.
yeah,
But
the people we got rid of were role players, man.
but
It wasn't
same
no
thing with
stars.
us.
But I mean, we got Kevin Durant. Come on.
I understand, but there's a lot of Warriors fans, and I've talked to some of them who were not happy because once KD like you all's future now, obviously now you guys are looking good again, right? But these last couple of years, it was looking pretty shaky for Golden State, and it was almost looking like, man, KD left you guys high and dry. After you guys gave up a lot of your depth for him, and then once he decided to go to Brooklyn, now
Right.
what are you left with? And that's what it was looking like. And when I look at the Lakers, we gave up a lot to get Anthony Davis, and with this man not even being able to be healthy, and really even play a full season, um,
The only reason
you
I'm not
start to wonder, should we have kept some of these younger
yeah,
guys?
well, you could have, but they might not have produced the same thing you wanted. They may have. I mean, might have won another title with the group that we had, but again, it's a chance that we didn't. Uh, and just to be able to get somebody like Kevin Durant when he was a free agent, he had other teams he could have chosen to go to. He chose us. We won 2 titles with him. Should have won 3 straight if he didn't get injured. Okay,
Yeah.
so when you look at it uh, as from that point of view, I don't have a problem with getting him. Now, what I do have a problem with is that we were banking on him resigning
That's what I'm saying. You're
it
gonna
as a
put your
free agent,
hands to
but
it.
he was a free agent, right? Or I think he just had he had an option that he could have he opted out instead of taking on another year. I'm trying to think of what the deal was there.
Either way, he was a free agent. He decided to not re-sign with you
Yeah.
guys.
So the thing is, if you're a free agent, then you got money, you got cap space to go get some other players, and that's really
Right.
what you had to do.
Frank said, he said we won a ring, so it was the right decision. And you know what? And you kind of said that same thing, Pops, because we won a championship. And I will say this: also, you got to look at I guess you got to look at the organization, right? This is the Lakers organization, so the way the Lakers have always kind of carried things, they're not really big on the rebuilding stage of things. The Lakers are trying to put more banners in the rafters. That's
Right.
why we got
Right.
17 of them.
Uh-huh.
But I always talk about this is the 75th anniversary of the NBA, and I always say, well, yeah, we won 17, but it also means we lost a lot of championships, or we lost a lot of opportunities to get to the finals on the way to those 17, right? So, but the Lakers have always kind of been one of those organizations where it's like we're trying to win right now, and I think that with LeBron being in his 19th season, tomorrow he turns 37. It's understandable that you didn't want to just sit there and wait around for these young guys to develop.
Right.
Frank was saying, we draft well, but then we're not able to really develop these players that well. So, I mean, when you look at it from that standpoint, they're trying to win right now. So I guess they felt like, hey, giving up that young talent for someone like Anthony Davis's caliber while we have LeBron James here, that's the smart thing to do because we're trying to win today. We're trying to win right now. And even what they just did recently by grabbing, I just feel like even if you're gonna go out there and grab some of these individual talents and these big pieces like a Russell Westbrook, now at least make sure that it's gonna fit because at least with LeBron and AD, they had some chemistry there. You know, that's that 1-2 punch. That's that,
Right.
you know, a good mixture between, you know, in the paint presence, right, and then perimeter presence. I feel like they have a good chemistry from that regard. But once you add a Russ to the equation, I don't think that I'm not saying don't go out and get someone as talented as him, but I don't think that he was the right piece.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I mean, and here's the thing too, Pops. Before I get to what Frank just said, here's the thing too. When you look at, I feel like if I'm building a team like right now, like if I know I'm trying to win this year or within the next couple of years, and I have LeBron James on my team, and I understand that, you know, we're pretty much going to run. He's going to have the basketball most of the time, so we're going to be running the offense through him.
Right.
I would think that you would look at his, you know, what teams were successful in Cleveland, what teams were successful in Miami. LeBron has always had what? Good defensive players around him when he was successful, when you know, when his teams were successful, and good three-point shooters around him. And that's been my issue with the Lakers. We haven't been a strong defensive team, other than we were you know, a couple of years ago when we won the championship. And we haven't been a strong, you know, shooting team. Like I'm talking about mainly from the three-point line. That's been my issue with you know, Rob Pelinka and those individuals is, you know, have you ignored you know, where, you know, why LeBron was successful on some of these other teams? Have you ignored
and I think you hit
these other teams?
You hit that point about the personnel that they bring in, man. You have to be considering having a good defensive team, a good defensive team as well. You can't just focus on guys that you think can put the ball in the basket. And you have to think about getting three-point shooting threats.
Right.
And that's something that they didn't do a good job at, other than Malik Monk. I mean, he's a good three-point shooter. But I mean,
he's
who
tricky.
else?
I mean, they got Wayne Ellington. He's a good three-point shooter. You got Malik Monk, but he's more streaky than me. Melo is shooting 46% three-point line in LA, but he's streaky. Huh?
Yeah, he's developed as a good three-point shooter, but like
we don't have a Danny Green. You know, we don't even have a J.R.
Don't mention Danny Green.
Dan, what I'm saying,
I'm done with Danny Green.
Hold on. What I'm saying is we don't have a Danny Green. I'm thinking back to the Danny Green that could actually shoot.
He's not the only person that can shoot threes, though, man.
I'm talking about guys that we've had before. You know, Danny Green was a stronger three-point shooter than the guys that we've had the last 2 years. J.R. Smith is a stronger three-point shooter than the guys we've had the last couple of years. Kyle Korver. Remember, LeBron had Kyle Korver in Cleveland. You remember he had Mike Miller in Miami. I'm just saying that I feel like that's what we're still missing right now. I didn't expect us to be missing lacking defensively. I expected us to still be kind of lacking from the perimeter in terms of our three-point shooting, but I didn't expect us to be struggling defensively like this.
And then the thing with AD, we've always known that he was injury prone.
And that's what Frank said right here.
And he was like that when he was with the Pelicans. So, I mean, it didn't take but he had a jam finger.
It wasn't this bad, though. It wasn't this bad.
But he started to have some major problems with his knees. And I'm a little concerned about the knee injuries. And I always said that, you know, wearing those Kobe Bryants out there, man, those tennis shoes, for a big man, it makes no sense because people are going to be stepping on your ankles all day long. And I think that that's one of the reasons why I think Davis really wanted to be more of a face-up type of big man. He don't like to be in the post.
You see what Jelani said, right? He said AD is looking a little scared this year.
Oh, yeah, he is, man. I'm telling you, Jelani. And the dude just seems like he does better on the wing facing up because he likes to shoot that jump shot. And he's got a smooth jump shot. But they wanted to get him down in the post because they think it's more effective because he can score in low. But he seems to get injured a lot when he's playing inside. I hate to say it.
Frank said this Lakers team reminds him of when we got Dwight, Nash, Ron Artest, Kobe, and we had Pau Gasol. Everyone thought they would win the title, and the team was terrible. Yeah, we were fighting just to get to the HC that year. And honestly, Frank, unfortunately, it's looking like that could be the case even this year. Like, I mean, right now, we're 7th in the West. We were just 4th in the West before we went on that 5-game losing streak. But I can easily see us being in the play-in tournament, being a 7, 8, 7, 8, or 9 seed. I mean, just the way that it's going, and the fact that we haven't been healthy, just like a lot of teams other than teams like Phoenix. A lot of teams, haven't been. Who is it? It's Phoenix, and it's another team too. It's another team too that's been pretty healthy throughout the course of the season. But everybody else is dealing with the health and safety protocols, man.
Right.
And then dealing with the injuries. We're not the only team. That's why it's like no one's going to sympathize with us because we're not the only team that's dealing with the health and safety protocol. We're not the only team that's dealing with having guys out from injury.
Hey, that's coming with the program right now. So it seems like everybody has to make sure that the team knows.
Utah, you're right, Jelani. Utah. That's what I was reading about today. Utah is like the only team that has not had anybody have to enter. Well, any of their star players have to enter into the health and safety protocol.
That's why they're doing so well. They got a good record this year.
Question for you guys: Kyrie Irving, he returned to practice today. I got two questions. Question is twofold. Number one, what do you think about the Brooklyn Nets bringing him back, despite him still being unvaccinated? Mm-hmm. And number two, what do you think this means for the Nets now that he's going to be around at least part-time?
Well, bottom line is it wasn't his fault that he no longer could play full-time. That was that restriction that New York put on the city of New York. So the mayor, the governor. So it's nothing he could do about that. So he was kind of put in a bad position. The problem we had with Kyrie is that he was always coming up with an excuse why he wasn't playing. That's why people thought that, he was holding out because he was just trying to shake things up or just not feel like somebody was going to tell him what he had to do in terms of getting vaccinated. But the bottom line is the man, he could make the decision. If he chose not to be vaccinated, if he was with another team, he could have probably played and wouldn't have had a problem like this. So I don't have a problem with them bringing him back because he was still making $15 million a year. So make him earn his money. Don't let him stay home and get $15 million a year. Make him come out there and play. Hey, look, if you're a coach, you'll work it out. If you got players on the team that got a problem with it, they, unless they're the top notch like he is, they're not going to get the same treatment because he is a superstar and he is great value, and it's going to take the weight off for somebody like Harden or KD when they go out of the game so they can help with the minutes, at least while they're away. The only thing is, if you get to the championship and you can't play your home games, man, that's going to be tough.
That's a problem.
But because they're in first place, a lot of people think they can still do well without him. So that's the big question.
Jelani's saying, Jelani says that, it just doesn't seem like basketball is his top priority. I agree. I feel like that's been the case since even before the bubble. It hasn't seemed, the last couple of years, it hasn't seemed like. And I'm not saying that means that he's, doing stuff he doesn't need to be doing. I mean, I understand that there's a lot of causes that he's passionate about right now, but it does. But still, he has a job to do. Like you said, Dad, you're making $15-16 million a year, so you still have a responsibility to your teammates, to the fans, to the organization. It just doesn't seem like it's been far too many times, even before the vaccination issue came up, where it didn't seem like that's where his mind was. Like basketball was kind of taking a back seat.
Me personally, if I was the coach and the GM, I would have left him on the team, and he would have been playing part-time.
Yeah, if you were to bring him back, you might as well have kept it like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you should have just kept him, man, and that y'all could have worked the system out by now as to who you could have given some breaks and some minutes off during the time when he was playing. But they weren't thinking like that because the pressure of the media and all this stuff. And I don't know what the guys were saying, but they would have been better off keeping him on that team. But the chances are he would have found a way not to be playing on a regular basis because he would have been out sick. He would have been on, mental health break. It would have been so many excuses because they continue anyway. So I guarantee you, he's not going to play every game on a part-time basis. Watch. we can bet some money on that. That dude's going to be getting some time off.
Well, he was already in health and safety protocol, man. He just got out. I don't think he's scheduled to play until January 5th or something like that.
Right. I heard that. So they're not going to get full time out there. He's saying he wants to come back. And, maybe as they get closer to the end of the season to playoff time and he sees them in a nice position, maybe that will kind of give him a charge to really want to get that title without, LeBron James. Maybe that will come back to his memory and say, "Man, I have a chance to do this thing."
I just love the fact that they're number one in the East without him. It's sure. I'm not saying that they're gonna win a championship without him, but they can. I believe they can win a championship without Kyrie. But like you said, man, you're paying him. So if you could bring him back part time, but it just makes it look crazy because they for all if they were gonna bring him back anyway, and the mandate has not changed in the state of New York, you might as well just kept him, as a part time player months ago.
Right.
That's the thing that's funny about it. You might as well just kept just kept him on the team.
Well, they might have thought that was going to put some pressure on them to go ahead and get vaccinated to come
I'm
full
sure they
time.
did.
They probably thought that eventually, give it a 2 or 3 weeks, he would have done it. But they realized that they're losing players. KD is getting overworked, and we don't want to see him go out with an injury because he's playing too many minutes. We know that happened to Kobe Bryant when Kobe got that injury. He was putting too much time in trying to keep the team, hold the team together, and that's why he got injured that time. So,
and I hope that same thing doesn't happen to LeBron because that's what Frank was talking about. We're in a similar situation right now, and if the Lakers continue to have this up and down battle, then they're going to be playing playoff style basketball a lot sooner than they're going to want to because they're gonna find themselves in a situation where they might have 30 games left and they got to win 20 of those 30 games. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And that puts a whole different level of pressure on LeBron and on Anthony Davis and on Russ and guys like that. And that's what happened to Kobe Bryant. It was many years ago. That was 2013, where they were playing. It was almost like their last 30 games of the season, 35 games of the season. They were trying to, they really every game mattered. Every game truly mattered towards their ranking in the Western Conference. And then eventually it was just, I think it was Kobe was playing too many minutes, and it was too much wear and tear on his body that many years into his career.
No doubt.
And look what happened. You get to the playoffs, you're an 8 seed, and he's not even there to be able to help you guys compete. So I'm hoping that same thing doesn't happen here. A question for you before we get out of here: is Klay Thompson ever coming back?
Yeah, he's coming back, man. They just moving him along nice and easy because he went back to they took him down to the G League.
Have you seen any highlights from that yet? I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, I did see some when he was playing with some guys, man. The main reason why they wanted them to get active, running up and down the court, playing in a team environment because, nowadays these guys play so much in the NBA that, when they have a practice, they're not running and stuff, man. They stretching, they going through plays and things like that. But, they needed him to get some real run in.
Happy holidays, Brody.
So I think he'll be back soon, man. They're just taking their time with him because they know as long as they're in first place, right, and playing like they're playing, why put them out there right away when you still are right there at the top?
That's true. That's true. But I'm
bring
just
him
curious
back because they want to get him 100%. They want to get him where he's out there running hard, jumping, doing the things that he wants to do because you don't want to get out there and be delicate with him,
Yeah, but you know what, Dan? I don't think it's really going to come down to at this point. He hasn't played in like 2 years. I don't think it's going to come down to a physical thing. I think it's going to come down to his mental. Where is his mind when he finally gets out there? Is he worried about getting? Is he heavily worried about getting injured again or tweaking that that injury from before?
Right.
Really
I think you're gonna see him in February myself.
Okay.
I
hope so, man. I hope so.
I think he'll be in February. Wiseman should be back around that same time. And then you're going to start to see that team. And the good thing is, man, they got they got some depth on the bench. So the minutes that these guys play when they come back are not going to have to be the level that they think they have to play. So they'll be able to manage them pretty good.
Yeah, once they get Klay back and get Wiseman back, I think that the good thing for Steph is going to be great news for him because it's going to take pressure off him. Because my whole thing with Steph is he's been playing NBA level. NBA MVP level basketball since last season, and I just don't know. I wonder if at this stage in the game, because I can't believe he's been in the league for 13 years, I believe. I just wonder if he can sustain that once they get into the playoffs and you're trying to make a title run. Because obviously, I think at this particular point, Golden State and Phoenix are the clear favorites to meet in the Western Conference Finals. I just wonder if this is going to be sustainable for him if he doesn't get Clay back soon and a guy like Wiseman back soon.
Well, I think right now with the players they have, and if you get Jordan Poole back, which he's coming back, he's been released to come back, so that's going to take some pressure off.
Was he in protocol?
Yeah.
Okay.
And with him coming back, and then hopefully Draymond comes back because I don't know why he's out. I think they can start to give him more minutes where he don't have to be on the floor as many minutes. Because I'm a little concerned about that too. Steph plays a lot of minutes, and a lot of teams are designing their defense to trap him and to work them harder, making them work harder to just get open. That's what happened last night. And finally, he broke loose the second half, and they almost won the
23
game.
in the second half, I think, right? Or 21
20,
in the second half.
21. But they were down at halftime 60-36. Okay.
Right. Crazy.
So that game seemed like that was supposed to be a done deal most of the time. But they couldn't.
Yeah, but they went on that run, that 17-5 run in the third quarter.
Right.
It'd be different if it was. It would be different if the third quarter they were down by that much.
Yeah, but they can't lock him up the whole game, and they're gonna run doubles and everything. But the thing was, they were finding open men, but these guys weren't shooting the ball well. And that guy, I'm happy about Jonathan Kuminga.
Right.
That guy, man, he played a lot of minutes yesterday. He missed about 8 free throws though, and that hurts. You got to make those free throws because he goes to the basket and gets fouled a lot. So if they can get him working on those free throws, Gary Payton, second looking good. Andre Iguodala, he's getting hurt, so he's going through some things because he's up in age, man. We can't expect so much from him. And Damian Lee is not even back. So you know who Damian Lee is, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Is he in protocol too?
No, he's just not back. I think he had an injury or something, maybe.
Oh, okay.
So I think we're gonna be okay, man. I'd like to see Steph get more rest though, man, because I don't want him to be burnt out when the playoffs comes.
Absolutely. No, and that's the thing too. When back when he had Clay out there with him, and they had a more stacked team or just a more veteran leadership on that team, and they were a deep team. And back when they had KD as well, when they were blowing these teams out, he was able to go to the bench at the end of the third quarter and get his rest. Mm-hmm. That hasn't been happening in the last couple of years. Obviously the year after KD left, he got injured, so he missed pretty much that whole season. Last year, it was a lot of wear and tear on him, and then this year, same thing is happening, but they're significantly better.
They got a lot of those young guys out there that they can rotate in, man, because I think they don't play anything less than 10 guys a game.
Right, that makes sense.
Sometimes 11.
Right.
Sometimes they're playing 11 guys a game, which is good because they're keeping that energy, that high energy, because they depend on defense. And,
right.
You got to have fresh.
See, that's what makes him so special, Dad. Even when you called me, today, and you were saying that you were surprised that you were proud of how they were able to fight back into that game, and I said, I wasn't surprised when I checked the score in that first half. I was surprised to see that they had only scored 36 points in that first half, but I said they're going to come back because anytime you have a team like that has youth, they're a great 3-point shooting team. They play well together, and they're a good defensive team, a great defensive team. I said it's only a matter of time before they go on a major run, and that's what happened in the third quarter. Next thing you know, I think they cut it to single digits in that third quarter, and then they ended up Steph ended up cutting it to 2 with a couple minutes left in the fourth quarter. So
they run that ball up and down the court, man. That's one good thing about them. They push the ball, they put pressure on the defense, and they're going to do that the rest of the season. So whoever's going to hang with them is going to be a team that can do the same thing.
Right.
And,
I wasn't surprised about that comeback.
Right now, the Suns are the only other team that I see that can get up and down the floor with that kind of attack and play good defense as well.
Absolutely, yeah. But like I told you earlier, I wasn't surprised about that comeback. The comeback I was surprised about was the Lakers on Christmas Day because they looked like garbage, okay? And they were down by, I think, over 20 points at one particular point in the second half. and they came back and got within a couple of points in the fourth quarter.
Was that LeBron that brought them back?
It wasn't just LeBron, but the thing about it was I was just surprised because it's not like we're a good 3-point shooting team, and we're really not a good. We've made some progress defensively, but we're starting to move backwards again defensively. So I was surprised. Like that was they like I said before Christmas Day. I said the way the Lakers are playing right now, I don't think they deserve to play on Christmas Day. That's just how I felt. That's how I felt, man.
Well, hopefully they get it together. Well, Christmas Day is over with, so. So I don't know what their next are they playing for New Year's Eve or something?
Well, they played. You know, they played last night. They beat Houston, which who cares? They played Memphis tonight. They beat Memphis tonight with no AD in the lineup. I'll be more happy about that win. And then they do play New Year's Eve. Yeah, they play. I forgot
LeBron got dunked on in that game. I remember that.
You see, Giannis. Yeah, that was.
Hey, look.
Yeah, that was
hey, look. I give him credit. He went in there to try to get the block on that young boy, but that young boy is long.
Posted.
They on now.
Yeah, I'm about to go watch my Lakers. They play Memphis. They playing Memphis right now. They started 8 o'clock.
I'm glad you still say my Lakers and not the Lakers. So.
Oh no, hey man, I'm a true fan, so I'm gonna still claim them, but they're not good.
All right,
they're not
good. As long as they're not Boston, because I can't stand Boston.
Hey, look, man. Well, you guys tuned in for episode 73 of Like Father, Like Son. We'll be back. If you didn't get to see the whole episode or you want to share this with other people, we are gonna put it up on our YouTube channel, Like Father, Like Son. That's a Steph Curry hat that my dad is trying to show y'all. It's black on black, so you know, yeah. I don't know how I feel about the new logo, but yeah, go Steph. Frank said DeMar would never get dunked on.
What he said?
He said DeMar DeRozan would never get dunked on. You know?
Oh, that's good. I think I've seen him get dunked on, my brother.
Yeah, I'm sure it's happened several times.
Yeah.
Hey, look, hey, Frank, don't make me start talking about DeMar and how this man couldn't even find the finals back when he was in the East and LeBron was in Cleveland. So don't even get me started, man. When he was on Toronto, but I got love for DeMar.
Yeah, I mean that team disrespected him totally, man. I'm glad to see him bounce back because he really went through it, man.
Then when he got shipped off when he was in San Antonio, it was like
they dogged him out real bad, but he's bounced back strong, man. I'm happy for him.
Absolutely, man. Hey, look, Pops, but we'll be back for episode 74 next week, and like I said, this episode is gonna be on our YouTube channel, other content to come, other things to come. So continue supporting us and rocking with us.
Hey, and we haven't said this in a long time. Just because the Bulls are doing so well, I'm gonna give them some props. Go Bulls! Go Bulls!
Hey, Pops, man, always fun. Always a pleasure. I'm going to go watch my Lakers, man.
Hey, enjoy it. Thanks for coming out, everybody. Y'all have a blessed week now.
We'll see you guys next week. All right, Pops. Peace.